Good morning to all. In last class, we have derived the expression for deflection of beam using double integration method, in which we know the equation of moment. From there, we derive by double integrating it and imposing the boundary condition. We obtained the deflection of the this beam for different cases. Now, another method which is also given in your syllabus is Macaulay method. So we today we will cover these remaining two methods which is given there, Macaulay method and strain energy method. So Macaulay method, we will see here that it is nothing but a simple moment equation. That means while studying your shear force and bending moment diagram, you used to write one moment equation for this beam or the beam. So same is this method, and we know that if we know if we know the value of moment, and then by double integrating that moment, we can get the value of deflection, that is displacement in the vertical direction. So if the loading condition change along the span of the beam, that is along the length of the beam, there is corresponding change in moment equation. This requires that separate moment equation be written between each change of load point, and to integration be made for each such moment equations. Okay, we will understand what it is written over here. So if we have different loading conditions along the length of the beam, then we have to write the moment equation for that. And with every change in load, the moment equation changes. So evaluation of constant. So if we know the moment, if we double integrate that moment, we will get some constant, that is two constants, C1 and C2. So we are interested in determining the values of those constant. So evaluation of constant introduced by each integration become very involved. Fortunately, these complications can be avoided by writing single moment equation in such a way that it becomes continuous for the entire length of the beam in spite of discontinuity of loading. So how do we write the moment equation? Suppose that you have a beam that is simply supported beam subjected to two different loads, that is a point load and uniformly distributed load of intensity 450 Newton per meter. So in Macaulay's method, what we do is that we determine the reaction as the same procedure we used to do in your shear force and bending moment diagram. From there, we determine reactions R1 and R2. So next task is to write the different moment equation. So how do you write the different moment equation? That is from portion A to B. We will have one equation that is 480 into X. This is between portion A to B. And for the portion between B to C, we have a different moment equation. That means this will be 480 into X, and another part will be this 500 minus 500 into X minus 2. So this is minus comes into picture because this is opposite of what we assume the positive sign convention. Next is if we are interested in writing the moment equation between portion C to D. So how do we write it? We assume a distance x from left end, that is x, and we will write all those terms, that is 480 into x. Then comes next load is 500 x minus 2. So what about UDL? First we will UDL. We will for the portion x minus 3, it will be nothing but 450 into x minus 3, and UDL will be acting at half of the length, that is x minus 3 by 2. So we have written this equation for this moment from a portion between C to D. So here one thing interesting is that we have a different equation for portion A to B But for portion between B to C, we have a different equation, and for the portion C to D, we have a different equation. So we will use this concept in determining the since we are knowing the value of a moment. So we can integrate this moment twice and get the value of deflection. By integrating this moment twice, we will have two constants C1 and C2. So we will be using boundary conditions to determine these two constants. If you look at this beam at x is equal to a, you have a value of deflection as 0, and at x is equal to d, you have also value of deflection at is equal to 0. So based on this, we will derive our this expression. So what we have written is, let us write the general moment equation M, which means that we will consider the effect of load on left of an exploratory section. Moment equation or portion AB, BC, and CD are written as follows. So we have already written the moment equation for portion AB, BC, and CD. So now the term is that we will integrate this equation twice. So if you integrate this equation twice, so can some of you please work for this? Equate equation MCD twice. So we will get this expression, that is something something C1 and C2. So we will see what is how these constants are determined. So here one thing is that if you look the net moment equation we have written, that is 480 into x minus 500 into x minus 2 into 450 by 2 into x minus 3. So this is the net moment equation from this point A to this load uniformly distributed CD. But this equation is not valid in case you have loading between A to B. If you consider only portion A to B, so these terms in bracket will be neglected. That is, x minus 2 will be neglected and x minus 3 will be neglected. If you consider the loading between your B to C, then x minus 3 only will be neglected. We will consider this x minus 2 into this moment equation. So this is all about the this Macaulay method. We will solve some example based on this. So procedure, as it is obvious that after writing down the moment equation, which is valid for all values of x, that is containing pointed bracket, integrate the moment equation like ordinary equation. While applying boundary condition, keep in mind the necessary change to be made regarding the point bracket. So let us solve one problem using this Macaulay method. So we have a simply supported beam which is of length 3 meters, and this point load is acting on it at a distance 2 meters from point A. So first immediate task is that we will determine the corresponding reactions. So if we work out the reactions, it will come out to be 100 and 200 Newton respectively. So once we have determined the reactions, the next task is to write the moment equation. M for moment equation, M for Macaulay's method. So we will use this write this moment equation. This will be equal to 100 into x minus 300 into x minus 2. So, but we will very carefully use this equation because this equation is written for the entire length, but it is not valid for this portion between A to B. Between A to B, for portion lying between A to B, we will neglect that term inside the bracket, that is x minus 2. So, if we integrate it once, if you integrate equation number one, then we will end up something written in equation number 2, but with an integration constant C1. If once again we integrate this equation, then we will have some integration constant, that is C2. Now next task is to determine the value of C1 and C2. So at x is equal to 0, so what will be the value of deflection here? At x is equal to 0. So at x is equal to 0, we have the value of deflection as 0. If you take at x is equal to 0, this will be 0. But you see that while using this expression, we will, while determining the value of constant, we will neglect the term inside the bracket. So we have to neglect this term inside the bracket, that is x minus 2 is to be neglected. So we will substitute x is equal to 0 by neglecting x minus 2. So we will get value of constant C2 as 0. So once you get this value 0, next task is to determine the value of constant C1. So we will use our second boundary condition, that is x is equal to 3. So if we are using this equation x is equal to 3, that means the term inside the bracket, that is x minus 2, is also valid here, because we are taking full span of the this beam. So if we substitute x is equal to 3 here, we will get some value of constant this C1 as this minus 133 Newton mm square. So we already know the values of these constant. Now next task is this determine the maximum deflection. So obviously you can look from the figure, this maximum deflection will be between portion A to B. So between A to B portion, we will neglect this x minus 2 term from the expression of this displacement, and get the value of maximum deflection by equating at point of maximum deflection. One interesting thing is that at point of maximum deflection, you can see here that slope is 0. That is dy by dx is 0 at this point of maximum deflection. So once you have dy by dx as 0 and you know the value of constant C1, so we can use, we can determine the value of this x. X means the distance at which this slope is 0. So once you determine the value of x, so once you determine the value of x, this will come out to be something x is equal to 1.63 meters. That is at a distance of 1.63 meters. This your this slope will be this 0, and deflection will be maximum. So you can easily find out the corresponding this deflection. That this will come out to be this maximum deflection will come out to be. It can be expressed in terms of this E and I, that is Young's modulus and your moment of inertia. So this will come out to be minus 145. And if you are given the value of Young's modulus as well as moment of inertia for a beam, so max, suppose that in this case we are taking E is equal to 30 GPa and I as 1.9 into 10 raised to power 6 mm raised to power 4. And we substitute this value, we will have y max is equal to minus 2.54 mm. Minus 2.54 mm. So this is the maximum deflection. So please work out for this problem. Obviously solution is given to you, but you work out this problem. That is, write the moment equation on your own and write the corresponding deflection on your own and get the values of C1 and C2. You work it on your own. Okay, so if you work for the moment, if you write the moment, which is nothing but ei into d square y upon dx square. So this will come out to be 500 into x. You can write it easily, and and then 400 by 2 into x minus 2 plus 400 by 2 into x minus 4 square, and 1300 into x minus 6. So you see here this we have written this moment equation, and here we have some terms in bracket, inside the bracket. So these terms inside the bracket are only valid for this certain this point of loading. Okay, so we will see here this how to determine. We will integrate this moment equation twice, and we will get the value of this ei into y. Once ei into y is known, we can always determine the value of y, because e and I are the known parameters. So once we have these two integration constant, we will use our boundary condition. That is, you can look here that if the beam is deflected, we will impose the boundary condition that at x is equal to a, the deflection is 0, but all the terms inside the bracket, that is x minus 1, x minus 4, and x minus 6, are no longer valid at x is equal to 0. So we will neglect all these terms. Now we will substitute x is equal to 0. We will have the constant C2 is equal to 0. Now next task is we will use our another boundary condition. You can use definitely use a condition with your convenience also. So another boundary condition, you may use this dy by dx also, but you do not know the value of this x. So in another boundary condition, we can use this C1. That is at point D, we have the deflection value of deflection is 0. So if we will substitute this value and use the corresponding terms. That is, if we find out the value of C1, this will on solving, we will get C1 is equal to minus 1308 Newton meter square. So this is value of C1 and C2. We will substitute this value, and we can see here this at the this mid span of the overhanging beam. Overhanging beam, because it has this 2 meters is overhanging from this this right reaction. So if we will substitute the value of corresponding this x is equal to 3. So here you can see, so this is 6 meters of between reactions. So if we substitute the x is equal to 3, we will get the value of ey. This will come out to be this x, this ey is equal to 1814 Newton per meter cube. So it was supposed to be this midway between the supports. So in question it is written that you have to determine the value of ei between midway between the supports. So midway is nothing but this is a whole length of beam between the supports is 6 meter, and midway between the support is 3 meter. So we will substitute value as x is equal to 3 and get the corresponding value of ei is equal to minus 1814 Newton per meter cube. Now this is all about Macaulay's method. Now the next topic, which is also given in your syllabus, is strain energy due to bending. So another approach is that we can use strain energy method for determining the deflection of the beam. But this is more complicated method than our previous two methods, that is double integration method and Macaulay's method. This is somewhat complicated method. So but let us see what is this is all about. So consider the short length of beam dx. So if you have an entire length of beam as this x, and we assume a small portion delta x, under action of bending moment M. If sigma is the bending stress on an element of cross section delta A at distance y from neutral axis, the strain energy of length delta x is given by this del u integral sigma square upon 2e into volume. So volume may be expressed as dA into this del x. So this del x we will take it out of integration constant. So this will come out to be, if you see this y square upon dA, this is nothing but it is equal to moment of inertia. So in this short, we can write this expression for the strain energy as u is equal to m square into dx upon 2ei, where this m is what? Moment. We can determine E and I are all known to us. EI is called as flexural rigidity of the beam. We all know this. So based on this, we will solve one problem. This formula for the strain energy, that is m square integral m square dx upon 2ei. Based on this, we will solve the one numerical problem. So a simply supported beam of length L. If you have length of beam simply supported as L, and A and B are the corresponding this distance from left and right support, and W is this concentrated beam. So we can easily determine the reactions at the extreme ends, that is RA and RC, reaction at point A and reaction at point C, which are the point of supports. Now we need to determine the total strain energy of the beam. Strain energy of the beam is need to be determined in deflection under the load. So here we are not following our conventional approach, we are following an energy approach here. So if you have this value of m, that is moment at any distance x, will be nothing but x from this left hand support, that is from point A. So we have value of moment as at that is WB upon L into x. So as we saw previously that we will substitute this value u is equal to m square into dx upon 2ei. So on substituting, we will get this value of strain energy corresponding to portion between A and B will be nothing but this will be equal to your W square B square W square A cube upon B square 6 EI into L square. Similarly, if we want to determine the strain energy, similarly by taking a variable x measured from C, so if we want to determine the strain energy between portion this BC, so this will be nothing but this will be equal to integral. We have taken a separate variable, that is capital X, and also the integration limits have been changed from 0 to A. It was previously, now we have changed our integration limit from 0 to B, and this will turn out to be W square A square B cube upon 6 EI into L square. Now this total strain energy will be at point this portion AB and this portion BC. This will be UA plus UB, and this will be W square A square B square upon 6 EI. And in case you have this load acting at the mid span of this beam, that is at middle portion of A and C, then A will be replaced, A and B will be replaced by L by 2. So if we wish to determine the deflection, because at under load this W, if we wish to determine the deflection at load W, we will equate your work done with the strain energy, and this will be equal to half W del X and corresponding value of the strain energy. this will turn out to be deflection as capital W A square B square upon 3 EI, and we will substitute A is equal to B is equal to L by 2, and this will give us W L cube upon 48 EI, which we have derived using our this conventional approach of a double integration method, that is W L cube upon 48 EI. But this can also be derived from using this work energy principle. Now, but this is more complicated, so we normally neglect this type of approach for this beam. But if structure is too much complicated, then we have to follow this approach. We will see in our subsequent example how complicated structures can be solved easily with this approach. But for a normal problem, we will not use this type of approach. So Castellano's theorem. So Castellano's theorem, this is a bit involved and not straightforward. So we will try to understand this. And so if we have this total strain energy as this U, and we have several loads acting on a system, W1, W2, W3, and so on, and number of loads are acting on it at different points, O1, O2, O3, and you have O up to On. So because of different loads, W1, W2, and W3, we have corresponding deflection, that is OX1, O2, X2, and so on. And because of these several loads, we will have entire this moments, contribution of moment because of these loads. So here we will see that this because of single load W1, this deflection can be expressed as in terms of X1. So we can write here the expression for this energy in terms of this displacement and the corresponding load as half sum of all the work done. So this will be nothing but equal to half W1 X1 plus half W2 X2 plus half W3 X3. So if we increase, suppose that if we increase load W1 with this value of this del W1, then the increase in external work will be nothing but the corresponding value, that is W1 into del W x W1 by 2 del X1, W2 into del X2, W3 into del X3. And if we increase, if there are increase in corresponding this displacement as well because of increased load W1, so this increase will be taken care by this term, that is W1 into del X1 plus W2 into del X2, W3 into del X3. So we will neglect the product of small quantities. If you multiply this del X1 into corresponding del W1, so we will neglect these terms. But suppose that if we are increasing this load, that is W1 from W del W1, and corresponding this deflection is also increased because of increase in this load, and this is because of gradually applied load. So deflection, all the deflection will be increased because we have a single beam and we have increased one load from W1 to del W1. So because of this, we will have corresponding increase in all the deflection values. If X1, X2, X3 were initial displacements, there will be increase in this corresponding displacement by del X1, del X2, and del X3. So we will subtract with the initial value of strain energy with the change value of strain energy, and neglecting this small quantity, that is del W1 into del X1. These are the small quantities. We will neglect this. So we will end up with something del U upon del W1 is equal to X1. So point of saying is here is that if you read the last paragraph, it is important to stress that use the strain energy expressed in terms of load and not including statically determinate reaction. So here we are not including anywhere the reactions, means in this approach we do not need to determine the reactions like in our all the conventional approaches. So that the partial derivative with respect to each load in turn gives the deflection at the load in the direction of the load. So here we see that we have done the partial differentiation of strain energy with respect to corresponding load. We will straight away get the deflection value. But we have to be cautious while applying this approach. So let us solve one example how this approach is applied to this complicated structures. So here we have something this structure, and we need to determine the displacement at point A. So here we have this structure which is fixed at some point, and W1 is the point load, and we need to determine the deflection displacement at A. So we will write the moment equation W into X at X from A between for portion B to C. This will be constant because you see that this length is always A. It is not going to change from that. So the moment will be a constant value W into A. And if you look at the portion above portion, that is CE or CD, we have assumed one length delta X and delta double X. That is from point D, and this we have assumed one length that is towards the left, that is this X bar, and towards the right of point D we have double X bar. So we can write the corresponding values of this moment. So once you know the corresponding values of moment, we will use our this expression for strain energy, that is integral m square into ds upon 2 EI. So ds is nothing but the assumed value, that is that corresponding distance from the load. So we have here 4 portions, that is AB, BC, CD, and DE. So we will have for this expression for the strain energies. So we will substitute the value of corresponding this X, that is distance from the loaded end, and upon integrating. So here we will have to put the limit of integration from where this is varying. So here if you look from in portion AB, this X is varying from 0 to A, whereas for portion this your B to C, it is varying from 0 to 2A, that is CB length is given to 2A. And for portion this you have this C to D, this is 0 to XA, and 0 to A, sorry, and this for portion D to E we have 0 to 1.5 A as limit. So on integrating and putting the corresponding values of this value of X, we will end with this quantity, that is 24.5 W square A cube upon 2 ET cube. So this is about strain energy. So as we know that if we want to know deflection at deflection of vertical displacement at point A, so what this Castigliano's theorem says, that we will differentiate with respect to load at point A. That is, load applied at A is capital W. We will differentiate the total strain energy with respect to this load applied at point A. So we will get displacement at this point A. This is all about this Castigliano's theorem. So this will be 24.5 WA cube upon ET cube. So this is the displacement for a complicated structure. because it cannot be solved with our this direct integration method or Maclaurin's method. So we have used our strain energy approach, where we didn't determine any reaction. We simply determine the strain energy of the whole system, and at the point at where we wish to determine the deflection, we will differentiate with respect to that corresponding load acting at that point, and we will get the value of deflection at that point. So with this, we have completed our this deflection of beam unit. So we will stop here, and we will take this problem, some numerical problems in our this subsequent classes. So I will stop here. If somebody has some queries, so we will wait for 5 minutes. Those who wish to leave may leave, and we will wait for 5 minutes. Then take some of your queries here.
हेलो सर, ये हेलो
हाँ, Ashish, we will wait for 5 minutes, then we will discuss. Okay.